UFC Fight Night, Sandhagen versus Song. Full card prediction, we got the main event. Corey Sandhagen, Yadong Song, Gregory Rodriguez, Chidi and Joe Kawani, and a lot of other good fights. If you want to look at it, go to the Tapology and press the card. But there are some good fights and ones that I am definitely looking forward to. A lot of fighters that I think could be future top 15 guys, like Pat Sabatini, Javid, Basharat, Denise, Gomes right there, possibly maybe a Daniel Zellhuber as well, and a few guys on the main card, but it's going to be a legit fight card. I can't wait. Let's do the full card prediction as we get into the first fight here in the strawweight division. Denise Gomes and Loma Lookboonmee in the strawweight division. Now, this is a close fight. Now, originally, I was going to be predicting Denise Gomes to win this fight. She's 22 and a half years old. She's a little bit taller than Loma Lookboonmee, a little bit lengthier, puts on good pressure, puts on a good amount of volume, mixes in some takedowns every now and then. And then I switched over to Loma Lookboonmee for a second there, and I was like, no, she's too skilled. She's Muay Thai base. She's over there at the Lookboonmee Muay Thai gym, Bangto Muay Thai and MMA. I mean, she's got very good kicking, very good volume on the feet, and she's probably just going to outstrike Denise Gomes a little bit here and barely edge out a 29-28 decision. But then I'm remembering, we just saw Nate Diaz put on an ungodly amount of pressure on the Tony Ferguson. He did stop a little bit every now and then to do his little antics, but Denise Gomes is going to go out there. She's going to eat shots from Loma Lookboonmee to put on some huge pressure onto Loma Lookboonmee here. And it's going to be a close fight. It's going to be one of those where, oh my gosh, Loma Lookboonmee got robbed. Denise Gomes got robbed. But really, it's going to be one of those that honestly could have gone either way. What do you value more? Denise Gomez's pressure, volume, and landing some big shots? Or do you value the sticking and moving of Loma Lookboonmee? Staying on the outside, landing more shots, getting some kicks in, and mixing in some takedowns and things like that. I'm going to have to go with Denise Gomes. Am I confident on this pick? Heck to the no. I mean, Loma Lookboonmee can easily win this fight if the judges are deciding that they would rather like volume rather than Denise Gomes is mixing in some takedowns, laying some big shots, some knees in the clinch, some elbows in the clinch, some spinning back fists that she liked to do on the Contender Series. So it's going to be an interesting fight. Denise literally just fought about 2 weeks ago, so it should be interesting to see what happens here. Again, could go either way, just depends on who the judges really feel wins the fight. I mean, obviously, that's what the judges are judging, but how they think the judge should go. Like, should they go to the one that's going for more volume? Should they go for the one that's mixing in takedowns? Should they go for the one that's not landing as much volume, but hitting a little bit harder? I think they're going to go Denise Gomes. Her clinch game is very good. Her knees, her elbows, and things like that are very solid, and I think that's going to be the outlier here, is those kind of grappling little situations where Loma is going to be looking to maybe get out of there and get back to that range, or she's going to be looking for a takedown of her own, whereas Denise Gomes is literally just going to be looking for knees and elbows and knees and elbows, and she's going to be racking up strikes in that clinching scenario, and then landing some big shots on the feet. It's a close one. Betting odds have Loma Lookboonmee at almost a 3-1 favorite the last time I checked the betting odds. As of right now, they do have Loma at minus 250. I'm going to go the underdog at plus 220 in Denise Gomes to barely edge out a very close decision on the judges' scorecards. It's one of those ones, again, could go either way. Underdog or pass if you're betting it. Denise Gomes by a very close 29-28 decision. Javid, Basharat, and Tony Gravely in the bantamweight division. Now, I'm going to say it right now. Anyone out here looking to bet Javid, Basharat, I'm going to say no. I'm going to literally go out there and say do not do it. Let's take a look at the betting odds here really quick. Minus 194 for Javid. Minus 215 for Javid, Basharat. Now, that is crazy in my opinion. Right now, they're both in around their prime of their MMA careers. 31 years old about, and 27 years old. 12-0 undefeated, and 23-7 with 30 professional MMA fights. Now, let me tell you why you're not going to want to go out there and like parlay Javid Basharat. The reason being is this dude has good wrestling, is very small, is very good at grinding on the ground. He could very well go out there, mix in some takedowns in round number 1, round number 2, on top of Javid Basharat, and grind in round 1 and 2, and win those rounds, gas out in round 3, lose that round, but eke out a very close 29-28 decision. Now, that's not it. He first off has the wrestling there, which I don't think is going to be like the biggest advantage ever. Javid is also a very good wrestler, a very good grappler, solid takedown defense and offense, good submission skills as well. Getting a Darce choke right there and a guillotine in round 3 over undefeated Oran Colon. The thing I'm really getting at here for this fight is the power of Tony Gravely mixed in with the takedowns. First off, he can use the takedowns to set up the strikes. He used the strikes to set up the takedowns here. This is a very, very weird matchup for Javid Basharat, because Javid is usually going against guys his size that aren't as good of a wrestler, aren't as good of a grappler as he is, and he can kind of dictate where the fight is going to be. Usually Javid can say, all right, I feel like I have the striking advantage, I'm going to strike with him, or okay, I can take this guy down, I'm going to take him down. This fight, he doesn't really have that option. Tony is the one that is going to dictate where the fight goes. If Tony wants to go out there and make this a grappling and wrestling fight, he's the one that's going to initiate those sequence of events in this bantamweight fight, rather than Javid Basharat, which is what he usually does in his fights. So that's why I see this being sort of a pick-em, in my opinion. Tapology going crazy for Javid Basharat, having him at like minus 300 on those Tapology predictions. The reach is even, height is going Javid, power going Tony Gravely, wrestling is even, grappling goes Javid Basharat, and volume goes Javid Basharat. So with all of the stuff that I just said right now, not to bet Javid Basharat, I don't care. I still think Javid Basharat is going to win this fight. Am I confident? You'll see in my confident picks video that we're going to post. Heck no am I confident on Javid Basharat. I am not at all confident on him. He's very legit. I do see him being a future top 10, top 5 type of fighter in this bantamweight division. But this is a tough second fight inside the UFC against a guy that's got very good wrestling that can kind of match Javid in that area and has the power to kind of keep it even on the feet as well. So should be a close one. I'm going to slightly lean towards Javid Basharat to win a very close 29-28 decision. Aspen Ladd and Sara McMann in the bantamweight division. Aspen Ladd, first and foremost, not very good. I'm gonna say it right now. She lost to Jermaine the Randomy, got knocked out. She did, on one hand, beat Stajara Eubanks, beat Yana Kuniskaya, which are some pretty decent wins in this bantamweight division. But then she got outstruck for 5 rounds by Norma Damon in that fight, and then she lost to Raquel Pennington in her last fight after that. Now, this is a very weird fight. I'm going to say it right now. This is a very, very weird fight. They're the exact same height, the exact same weight, the exact same reach. They're both wrestlers, and one of them's 41, almost 42 in about 3 or 4 days, and one of them is 27 and a half years old. So age advantage is going Aspen Ladd. Wrestling advantage, I would say, is probably going to go Sara McMann right here. But do I see her dominating Aspen Ladd on the floor? No, probably not. And if that's the case, if Sara McMann's not able to kind of control Aspen Ladd on the ground, and Aspen is able to defend the takedowns here and make this a striking fight in the women's bantamweight division, well, I'm going to have to go Aspen Ladd. Am I confident? Heck to the no. 56% going McMann, 44% going Ladd. Betting odds, if we can check those ones out, if we can find them, are going to be having Aspen Ladd as a very, very slight favorite. Started at plus 155. I think it's a pick 'em as well. There's a lot of close fights in this card. This is definitely another one of them. It all comes down to, can Sara McMann get the takedown? Can Sara get the takedown and get a little bit of control time, mix in some ground and pound? I don't think so. I can't see Sara McMann controlling this fight on the ground for too long. She did it against Carol Rosa. She did it against Lena Landsberg. But, I mean, Aspen Ladd's a good wrestler, a good grappler. I say she's going to be able to keep the fight on the feet. And this one's going to be a very, very close 29-28 decision for Aspen Ladd. Mariya Agapova and Gillian Robertson in the flyweight division. Both girls pretty young in their MMA careers, 27 and 25 years old. Height, pretty even. Reach, definitely going for Mariya Agapova. I'm going to say it right now. This fight goes one of 2 ways. One way, Mariya Agapova somehow is able to go out there and defend Gillian Robertson's takedowns for 3 straight rounds. and win a decision. That's one possible way this fight goes, is Mariya defends, gets a rear naked, maybe. I don't know how she has so many finishes on her career, but she's not going to finish Gillian Robertson. If she's going to win, it'll be a decision. The other outcome to the fight is Gillian Robertson goes out there and takes Mariya Agapova down easily, like Marina Moroz, gets her back and rear nakeds her in round number 1, like she did with Priscilla Cachoeira. I'm leaning more towards that, so I'm going to go Gillian Robertson to mix in the takedown early on in this fight, ground and pound a little bit for about 3 to 4 minutes, and at the end of round number 1, get the hooks in, get the arm across the chin, and get that rear naked choke submission. Anthony Hernandez and Marc-Andre Barriault in the middleweight division, 32 and 28 years old, height and reach, pretty similar, little advantage there, but let's talk about the matchup. So, Anthony Hernandez has better jiu-jitsu in my opinion. He's going to have the better wrestling, the better takedowns, and he's a little bit lengthier on the feet, so it's going to kind of force Marc-Andre Barriault to have to come in the inside if he's going to want to put on that pressure, put on that volume with the striking in this fight with Anthony Hernandez. So, with all that being said, it's not the longest breakdown ever that I'm going to make on this channel, but I think it's pretty simple. I mean, there's a possibility that Marc-Andre Barriault's takedown defense could have improved a lot since his last fight with Jordan Wright, but he got taken down a few times in that one. Anthony's a lot better on the wrestling and grappling than Jordan Wright is, in my opinion, and I think he's just going to grind on the floor, and I do think that Anthony Hernandez will win this fight. I'm gonna go submission. I think this is gonna be a grinding fight. And I think Anthony, at one point or another, later on in round 2 or round 3, will find an opening for the choke and submit Marc-Andre Barriault in the 2nd or 3rd rounds. Damon Jackson and Pat Sabatini in the featherweight division. Pat Sabatini, 31 and 10 months old. 31 years and 10 months old. Not as tall and not as lengthy as Damon Jackson here. Striking wise, it's going to be even. Pat is going to be pressuring, is going to be throwing the volume, trying to land some big shots onto Damon Jackson, and Damon is just trying to stay on the outside, stay away from the pressure, stay away from the volume and the takedowns of Pat Sabatini, and just try to point fight a little bit here. Damon's not really known for having KO power or anything like that. Neither is Pat Sabatini, but if I would have to pick one guy to get the knockout on the feet, it'd probably be Pat Sabatini, if I'm being quite honest with you. But this one comes down to who's going to get the takedown. I mean, striking-wise, it's probably going to be pretty even, and the judges will probably give it to either guy. It'll go either way if it's a 3-round striking fight. It all comes down to who's landing the takedowns. Pat Sabatini, in my opinion, is going to be that guy. Going out there, dominating Tucker Lutz in their fight, taking down TJ Laramie in their fight, submitting Jamal Emmers, Tristan Connolly beating him by unanimous decision. I mean, he's been getting the takedowns so easily in his last 4 fights. I mean, he's very, very legit, has very good wrestling and very good grappling and solid pressure as well. And Damon does not like the pressure. I think round 1 is going to be a little bit of a striking match here, but round 2 and round 3, that's where Pat is really going to start to put on the pressure. And because Pat, in my opinion, is going to have the volume advantage here, is going to have the cardio advantage over Damon Jackson, I think round 1, it could go either way. Beats me who wins that round. Round 2 and round 3, that's where Pat Sabatini is really going to start to unload of the striking and really start to focus on taking down and ground and pounding Damon Jackson to possibly find an opening for a submission. So I think round 2, round 3 are Pat Sabatini's, and this will be a 30-27 and 29-28 unanimous decision. Judges will have it a pretty close first round that'll go either way, but I'm gonna go Pat Sabatini to win that fight. Trevin Giles and Luis Cosce in the welterweight division. Now, am I confident on my prediction I'm about to make? No. First thing is first, Luis Cosce has power. The man is 7-1 with all of those 7 wins coming in round number 1, with all but 1 coming by KO or TKO, 1 guillotine over an 18-42 fighter. Now, is he a very technical striker? Is he a very good wrestler? A very good grappler? Is he really good in any aspect of the game? Probably not, except for the man's power. The dude has some insane power in his hands. He could definitely go out there, just start winging punches on Trevin Giles, land on that chin, and knock out Trevin Giles. Trevin just got knocked out 2 times in a row by Drico Duplessis, top 15 UFC welterweight, and Michael Morales, undefeated future top 15 welterweight. Some super legit guys in the welterweight division. Before that, beating James Krause, Bavon Lewis, and Roman Dolidze. He's taller, he is lengthier, he's the better technical striker, he throws more volume, he's got the wrestling advantage. He has all of the advantages there is known to man over Luis Cosce, except for the power. And that's where this one becomes confident to slight lean, because Trevin Giles should easily win this fight. He should have no problem staying at range and point fighting Luis Cosce for 3 rounds and winning a decision. He should have no problem going out there, taking down Luis Cosce, beat him on the ground with a ground and pound, maybe even submitting him. This should be a super confident pick of the card. It's just he's been knocked out twice in a row, and I can never take a chance in being super confident on a guy coming off of 2 knockout wins in a row like that, especially going into a fight against a guy that always gets those first round knockouts. So I'm going to go Trevin Giles by late finish, round 2 or round 3 TKO. Once Luis Cosce gets a little bit tired here, but am I confident? Again, like I've been saying, no I am not, because of the chin of Trevin Giles, the fact that he's been knocked out so many times recently, and Luis's power. But like I said, Trevin is better everywhere. Better striker, he's taller, he's lengthier, better wrestler, better grappler, better clinch, better knees, better elbows. Just that power, man, makes it a little bit of an interesting fight. Trevin Giles by 3rd round or 2nd round at TKO. Nikolas Motta and Cameron VanCamp. In the lightweight division, Cameron VanCamp, 29 and 4 months old right there. He's a lot taller and a lot lengthier than Nikolas Motta in this fight. Went to welterweight on short notice to fight Andre Filio, and he ended up losing that fight, but he looked good. He rocked Andre Filio in that fight. Actually was outstriking him, landing more strikes and landing the harder shots up until that left hook landed. So Cameron VanCamp, we thought of him to be mostly just a wrestler, a grappler going out there looking for the doors, the rear naked, the armbar, and things like that. But the dude is legit on the feet as well, which makes this one a heck of a lot more interesting. And Nikolas Motta is a very powerful puncher, going out there, knocking out Cesar Balcameda. Juan Gonzalez got a decision win there, and a decision on Joseph Lowry, but he did get knocked out by Robert Hale, and he did get knocked out by Jim Miller right there. And what I see happening here is Nikolas Motta is going to look pretty good for a little bit. He'll land some good shots. Cameron's going to be moving his head, standing on the outside, looking to land his shots on the outside, jabbing a 1-2 and jabbing a 1-2 and leg kicking at range. And eventually, because I think Nikolas Motta's chin really is not the most impressive thing, considering he's been knocked out in all 3 of his most recent losses, and then a guillotine before that. I don't know what's up with the man's chin, but he's got 3 first-round knockout losses. 2 first rounds and a second-round knockout loss to Jim Miller. It just makes it a heck of a lot more interesting, considering Cameron just almost knocked out Andre Filio in the welterweight division when he is a lightweight. I think Cameron's going to be bigger. I think he will have the striking advantage at range, and that'll force Nikolas Motta to close the distance where Cameron can counter and potentially mix in a takedown. I think Cameron VanCamp will rock Nikolas Motta on the feet with a good right hand, and then he'll take down Nikolas Motta, get his back, and rear naked choke submit him in round number 2. Cameron VanCamp as a 2-1 underdog. I think that's what he's at. He could be more, could be less. He's at 2-1 underdog, plus 200 on the betting odds. I got him winning by a submission in round number 2. Daniel Zellhuber and Trey Ogden in the lightweight division. If you watch my most confident picks video we're about to make, come on, Daniel Zellhuber is on top of that list. He's very, very high on that list. 23 years old. He's taller. He's a heck of a lot lengthier with a 77-inch reach for the lightweight division. That is absolutely amazing for Daniel Zellhuber in this fight. He's very young. He's a very good kickboxer, very good striker. He throws more volume than Trey Ogden. He's a lot more powerful than Trey Ogden, and his takedown defense honestly is pretty solid in my opinion as well. Did beat Lucas Almeida on Dana White's Contender Series, the man, the myth, the legend that went out there and knocked out Mike Trizano right there. And is about to fight Zubaira Tukhugov, and my man Daniel Zellhuber went out there and outstruck Lucas Almeida. He looked very good in doing so. I think in this fight, it's going to be a very, very good masterclass here. Trey Ogden, I don't know the last time he's been knocked out, per se, in his MMA career, if we can check. Really quick, he has 0 knockout losses in his career, which leads me to believe, sadly, we're going to see a decision. I would love to see Daniel go out there and knock out a guy in his UFC debut, but Trey Ogden's a tough guy. He'll survive, and this will be just an all-out annihilation in the striking from Daniel Zellhuber, apart from getting the finish. Daniel Zellhuber, 3 rounds of striking, getting the 30-27 unanimous decision. Andre Fili and Bill Algeo in the featherweight division. 32 years old and 33 years old. Height is even and reach is pretty even as well. Bill Algeo did beat Spike Carlyle, who's not in the UFC. Joe Anderson Brito, who beat Andre Fili, which was very interesting. And then he just beat Herbert Burns. Wrestling and grappling for this fight, I don't see too much of it, to be honest. Andre actually lands more takedowns and mixes in more wrestling than Bill Algeo does in his fight. So I kind of predict a stalemate when it comes to the wrestling and grappling in this fight with Bill Algeo and Andre Fili. And when it comes to the striking of Bill Algeo and Andre Fili, I do believe Andre's going to be slightly the better striker. He's going to be a little bit, throwing a little bit more volume, stand on the outside, picking his shots very nice, being the more technical striker. Bill is going to be the more Nate Diaz type of striker, pressuring forward, looking at lane, and putting on that pressure towards Andre Fili. But I see this being a 3-round kickboxing affair, and Bill Algeo doesn't really do good in those type of fights. Lost to Ricardo Lamas in a similar fight. Lost to Ricardo Ramos in a similar fight. I think Andre Fili takes a page out of the Ricardo Ramos and Ricardo Lamas book and just stays in the outside and kickbox with Bill Algeo for 3 straight rounds. I got Andre Fili winning this fight by a very close 29-28 decision, but it should be a -110, -110. Alen, Amedovski, and Joseph Pfeiffer in the middleweight division. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Come on. Alen Amedovski's totally going to win the fight. Now, come on. Joseph Pfeiffer by KO or TKO in round 1 or in round number 2. Going out there, knocking out Ozzy Diaz on Dana White's Contender Series. The man has crazy good power in his hands. And Alen Amedovski does not have a chin. Got knocked out against John Phillips, who's not even that good of a striker. And got rocked against Joseph Holmes and submitted in that one. Lost a unanimous decision to Krzysztof Jotko. I don't know how he's still in the UFC after a 3-fight losing streak. But now he is fighting Joseph Pfeiffer. And Joseph, I'm going to be dead honest with you, has the wrestling advantage here. I'm going to be completely honest. Both of these guys usually go out there looking to get the knockout on the feet, land a big shot, get a KO, TKO round 1 or round number 2. But I'm going to be honest with you, even if Alen Amedovski somehow has the striking advantage, Pfeiffer can easily go out there, take the fight down, and submits Alen Amedovski, ground and pound Alen Amedovski. That's definitely a path to victory, as he does have 2 of his wins inside of his MMA career coming by a submission. But I don't think it comes to that. I think he cracks the chin early on in round number 1 and knocks out Alen Amedovski. Tanner Boser and Rodrigo Nascimento in the heavyweight division. Another fight, I'm going to say it right now, don't bet it. Do not bet this fight if you're betting the favorite. Don't bet the favorite for this fight between Rodrigo Nascimento and Tanner Boser. Tanner Boser right now -210. Oi, that's a little interesting there, bud. 2-1 favorite over the younger, bigger guy right here in Rodrigo Nascimento, who is going to have the wrestling and grappling advantage over Tanner Boser when Tanner just got out-wrestled and out-grappled against Ilir Latifi in their fight. If Ilir Latifi is able to go out there and grind and get the wrestling and grappling unanimous decision, you gotta think there's a good possibility that Rodrigo Nascimento could also do the exact same thing. Now, is that going to be my prediction here? No, I do think Tanner Boser will get the TKO win later on in the fight, round number 2, round number 3. But that round number 1 is going to be very, very interesting. And if Rodrigo can get the takedown without exerting too much energy in round number 1, then get a takedown in round number 2, control, he could very well pull off a submission early on in the fight, or win round 1, win round 2, and edge out a very close decision. And that's why I'm going to say don't bet Tanner Boser in the fight. It's a very, very close one, but Rodrigo got knocked out pretty bad against Chris Dawkins in their fight. Did beat Alen though after that, but I still think his striking isn't really that good. As he comes in for the takedown, Tanner's going to be looking to land some big shots like he did with OV St. Preux in the last one. And I think round 2, round 3 is where Rodrigo Nascimento is going to be a little bit wobbly, a little bit gassed there, and Tanner Boser will land something big with Rodrigo Nascimento's back to the cage, mixing some knees, some right hooks, left hooks, uppercuts, overhands, and crack on the chin of Rodrigo Nascimento. Second or third round TKO. Chidi and Njokuani and Gregory Rodriguez in the middleweight division. Same height, but a little bit of a reach advantage for Chidi and Njokuani. Age is going to go Gregory as he is in his prime at 30.5 years old, beating Julian Marquez in his last fight by knockout. The dude has fell in love with his hands, knocking out Junyon Park, beating Dusko Todorovic, and then knocking out Josh Frams inside the LFA, losing to Armand Petrosian in a fight that could have gone either way. Chidi and Njokuani beating Christian Torres, Mario Souza on the Contender Series, then knocking out Marc Andre and Dusko Todorovic. Striking, I see being pretty even. I think Gregory will put on the pressure, put on the volume, come forward on Chidi and try to get his back to the cage and land something big. But Chidi is also a very good striker, very tall, very lengthy, and is going to be looking to counter Gregory Rodriguez when he comes in. And this should be interesting. Dusko was able to land some takedowns on Chidi and Njokuani. I do think Gregory Rodriguez will be able to mix in 1 or 2 takedowns in this fight as well. So, with all that being said, I'm going to go Gregory Rodriguez to win this fight by a 29-28 decision. I think the striking is going to be pretty even. Gregory's going to land a little bit of some big shots that are going to rock Chidi and Njokuani. Chidi's going to land some big shots that are going to rock Gregory Rodriguez. Volume's going to be even. Power's going to be even. And then the takedowns of Gregory Rodriguez are going to be what gets him the win. It all comes down to, is he actually going to attempt those takedowns? It's the smartest game plan from Gregory, given how close the fight would be in the striking, and I would actually say he'd probably lose the fight on their judges' scorecards if it is 3 rounds of striking. But I got Gregory Rodriguez winning this fight by a close decision. Corey Sandhagen and Yadong Song in the bantamweight division, 5 rounds of action. Yadong, 24, almost 25 years old, not as tall and not as lengthy. Is going to have the power advantage. They're going to have the pressuring advantage, trying to go out there, do what Piotr Yan was able to do in the later rounds of their fight. Put on the pressure on Corey Sandhagen and land some big shots coming in. Corey is going to be using his height, using his reach, standing the outside, being elusive, kicking at range, kneeing at range, and things like that. Just 1-2 and 1-2 and 1-2 and standing the outside and trying to win a decision. Only way I see Yadong winning this fight is if he can somehow get a finish early on in this fight, or if he's able to go out there and rock Corey Sandhagen in a lot of these rounds. That's the only way he's going to win, is if the rounds are very, very even in volume, and Yadong Song just every round, kind of like a Marlon Chito Vera, is able to land one big shot. The judges are going to be like, oh, wow, alright, that round is going to go towards Yadong Song. It really comes down to those moments of Yadong Song, because I don't think he's going to get a knockout win onto Corey Sandhagen on the fight. Gonna come down to, can he go out there, keep the volume very, very even with Corey Sandhagen, and every round make one big moment that'll stand out above the rest for those judges to make those decisions on the judges' scorecards. And I don't think so. Corey's elusiveness is going to make him be able to land a lot more volume than Yadong Song. And even if Yadong Song is able to land one of those big shots in a lot of these rounds, I still don't think it's going to be enough for him to win the fight, considering how tall, how lengthy, how elusive Corey Sandhagen will be in this fight and landing a lot of volume at range. So it's going to be a fun one, possible fight of the night, but I think that one is definitely going to go to Gregory Rodriguez and Chidi and Njokuani. I got Corey Sandhagen by a 48-47 decision. That is it for the full card prediction. I got Corey Sandhagen by decision. Gregory Rodriguez by decision, Tanner Boser by TKO round 2, round 3, Joseph Pfeiffer round 1 knockout, Andre Fili decision, Daniel Zellhuber decision, Cameron VanCamp, second round submission, Trevin Giles, second or third round TKO, Pat Sabatini decision, Anthony Hernandez submission in round 2 or round 3, Gillian Robertson by a submission, Aspen led by a close decision, Javid Basharat by a very close decision, and Denise Gomes by a very close decision. We got some good fights for UFC Fight Night. Sandhagen versus Song. Those are my full card predictions. Make sure y'all like this video. Trying to get it 100 likes, and we're trying to hit my goal of 9,000 subscribers by the end of September. And we're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of October. So I would greatly appreciate it if you guys would hit that subscribe button, like the video, and put all your predictions down below in the comment section. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one.